Okay, I'm getting ready to do a little prep work. I'm going to start the tailgate or the rear hatch on the Suburban tomorrow. I've got some rust, some labels or decals to remove, and one of the things I'm looking at here is these emblems. I don't really want to take them off just because they've, like a lot of things on this, it's survived for 20 years. But I also don't want them looking all worn out like that, and I think the easiest way is just to get the black. Bring this black in here back. That'll, I don't know, maybe polish out. But before I even try that, before I try to polish it out, I want to try this stuff here. And here's the box it comes in. You can get it on Amazon or auto parts stores. This is what I used, actually, ironically, on this bumper 10 years ago when it was gray, and it held up pretty well. I used it on my Avalanche. It's pretty good stuff. I'm going to use it on these. One problem with it is it kind of stains everything around it. I don't care if it stains the paint around it. I'm not going to worry about that, obviously. But I got some acetone here, just in case it stains all this chrome. But, you know, worst case scenario, I can buy another pair of emblems for 20 bucks on eBay. So we'll see how it goes. I will say, you definitely want to use gloves with this stuff. If you get it on your hands, it'll take it a week to get it off. It is tough stuff. When I do trim like this, or the running boards or something, I usually use a sponge with this. I'm just doing this little area, so I'm only going to use a old sock and hopefully have some luck with it. I think that's a success. We'll move on to the next one. Well, there you go. Do they look new? Nope. But do they look good? Yeah. I think especially from a distance. And once I get the rest of this off of it, it's going to look acceptable, which is what we're going for. And it didn't cost me more than 2 cents worth of this and a nickel's worth of acetone and a couple of gloves. And on this Suburban, these are the only two emblems. So I'll revisit this stuff after the paint's done, because I'm going to redo the plastic. I don't think I've got enough in here to do all the plastic on this, but you'll see how well it works. One other really easy thing I can do tonight is get rid of this. This is some type of sticker. I'm going to try this. This is what's called an eraser wheel, label or decal eraser wheel. So I once took all the side decals off of an RV with this same wheel. Actually, it lasted the whole time. Almost killed my electric drill, but it did make it. So let's see. I'll show you how this works. It's very easy. You just put it up against it and rub it. It doesn't eat through the paint. Although, given the condition of this paint, it's anyone's guess. See that? Amazing, huh? Well, as soon as I change my battery, I guess. And back with a new battery. I should be able to just wipe that down with a little acetone to get the residue off, and we'll be done. See if that, you can kind of see Marquardt in Wisconsin, Chippewa Falls. We'll see if it comes through after I've sanded everything down, because I don't really have to sand much there. Just some light sanding to rough it up before I put the paint down. We'll see if it shows through. If it does, I'm fine with that. Okay, since everything's going so well, there's one more thing I'm going to do tonight before the weather heats up, because I hear tomorrow it is actually going to be 90 degrees out. So what I'm going to do is save myself some trouble and paint tight on this so it makes it easier for me to mask it off tomorrow, which hopefully I will get to that. So to do that, to do the little air touching up, and this one's actually trickier because I've got to get within there and in these little spots here. So what I'm going to use are artist brushes, and you know, if you go to an art store, you'll pay probably a lot for these. I went to Ross, sometimes I get them at Marshall's for $6. I've already used one out of here, probably the one that I need, which is the small, very small flat one. But there is another flat one in here. So I'll probably end up using this guy to get in between those letters, and I want a flat one to kind of tuck in, because this is very square. And that, of course, is hidden deep inside the package. And to do that, I'm just going to need a little bit of gray paint, not a lot. Let me use my glove here. I do not have steady hands, which is why I'm no good at this. I did bring the acetone just in case I need it, because I might, because I'm pretty sloppy. So just give yourself some paint. And here's the flat brush. Yeah, it's going to be pretty thin until the propellant disappears from it. So I'll just paint very wide until I see the consistency I need. It's getting there. This emblem's pretty easy. I may need to do more than one coat. Okay. Yeah. I won't bore you with all the details. I'll be back when I get a couple coats on it and show you. Okay, I got the paint on. I'm not worried about it being a spotty finish because I'm going to be masking very tight right up against that. So when I coat it with the hammered finish tomorrow, it'll just absorb that. It'll just disappear into the finish. I know some people are thinking I should have just removed these, saved myself a half an hour, but you know, I'm using a lot more paint. I had to buy another 6 cans to be safe, and I'm still trying to keep it below $300. I don't want to take a chance on breaking one of these and having to buy a new set, even though I did see used sets on Amazon for 20 bucks, or eBay rather, for 20 bucks. This saved me a little time, and honestly, they look, actually from a distance, they look pretty good. Once they're masked off and it's painted around it, I think it's going to look satisfactory. So I will be back tomorrow. I got to fix this rust and then paint the tailgate. Looks like that's the only spot of rust on it. But I've got to do in here as well, which is going to be tricky. But we'll see. It's going to be 90 out, so this is the only thing I'm going to try to do tomorrow. And then Sunday, maybe I'll tackle the hood. But I'll be back. Hello everyone, it is Saturday morning. I'm going to try to hit this before it gets hot out. Today we're going to do the rear hatch. You see, I did the prep work, put some paint around those and colored them in yesterday or last night, and really the only hard part is going to be hitting this. I'm going to hit it with some 80 grip. I'm going to try to avoid all the mosquitoes. Hit it with some 80 grit, and then lighten it up to down to 220, and then get some very light sanding on it and then mask it all up and paint it. For those curious, yes, my cold is better. I'm dealing with a sinus infection now, so it is what it is. But I'm going to get this done before it gets 90 out, because I've got a lot of other things I got to do today, and this is unfortunately the only task for today. But tomorrow we're going to do some more. All right, this is 80 grit. I've got it lifted up away from the body and covered. 80 is pretty rough. I'm thinking it's going to take it. I fully expect that this rust will come back at some point. I'm not going to take the panel off and go under it. I'll try to seal it as best I can. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. I expected to see all sorts of rust under here, and there isn't any. So the paint was just bubbling? I wish the rest of the truck were like that. I've got some real rust on the rest of the truck. All right, so I'm just gonna hit it with 220 and smooth it off. Get a little bit of the rough edges off here a little bit more. Sure, somebody online will explain why that looked so much like it was all rusted away, and it wasn't. All right, let's go to 220. Smooth it down. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna probably hit this with 220, just kind of scuff it up a bit, and then prime it. I'm gonna put some rust sealing primer on that. Although really, that looks like aluminum. I wonder if it is. Yep, this rear hatch, it's aluminum. So that explains it. So it wasn't rust, it was just corrosion under the paint, which is a lot easier to deal with if it's light. All right, so I'm gonna get to masking. I'm gonna do a rough sanding, and then we're gonna get to paint. Okay, we are masked pretty much. I just got to do a little bit over here and primed, and it just struck me I'm probably going to take the taillights out. So I thought maybe I'd add a little video about how to do that. Since if you're going to be painting back there, I might as well take them off. And they're pretty dull. They don't get as bad as headlights, so they're a little easier to bring back. So I'll probably take them off and bring them back. We'll just add to the look without adding to the budget. They're pretty easy to take off. Put the camera into it. Just 2 screws. Once you get them off, you get 3 bulbs. Probably want to mark them. These 2 are the same, so you just do 1, 2, 3. That's good. You know, it's easy. That way you know which bulb goes where, and you don't have to take them off a second time. Whew, these haven't been off in a long time. That's it. I've got it mostly masked up. I'm in the process of this. I used up the last of the small roll of that and ran out, and so I have another gap I've got to fill. And it reminded me of a little tip I can give you guys, and that is go to a thrift store or something and just buy. This is what I call the big book of Microsoft masking tape, and it's relatively heavy-duty paper, and whenever I need some masking paper, I just pull out a nice square pre-cut sheet. So go to a Goodwill store and pick up one of these or some book like it, and just keep it handy, and it makes masking things off a lot faster. Okay, it's masked off. I cleaned it all up with acetone, and paint can is shaken. I'm going to use a brand new can because I want to see about how much it takes so I can gauge if I have enough for the rest of the body. I got one of these things, supposedly makes it easier. My nerves have not returned to my finger from last week's 8 cans on the roof. So I'm going to try it on a piece of cardboard first. Actually works. So it's going to be a little worse if this paint can spits. Well, let's get started. Again, to not get the hammered finish, because we do not want that, what we're doing is putting on light coats. Okay, we've got the first coat of paint on, and it's showing a lot of the fine scratches. This is one can, so clearly it's going to be more than one can to do the tailgate. I'm hoping two, but I bought extra. You know, my budget is 300 bucks. So far I spent about 160 on paint and used about half of that. We'll see. I'm gonna let this sit for 10 minutes and then I will jump to coat number 2 and show you how that comes out. You just push it on the can, make sure the nozzle's pointed in the right direction, and go. So I'm gonna hit it with coat number 2. You see the finish is evening out a bit. It's kind of a odd paint where there's two compounds working as it dries. I don't want to let it get too dry because I want to get a bit of a gloss on it. So I'll catch a little bit of this and then I'll pause the camera again. But I'll let you see me start the second coat anyway. Well, if I get the cat out of the way. Come on, Nacho. I appreciate your help. Okay, 2 cans. It's better. I did have a couple of bugs land on it. I got one right there. As I said, it's forgiving paint. I think I'm gonna take a break for a few, let it set, then give it a look, and then maybe add a 3rd can. That'll be it, 3 cans total. Which isn't bad really if you think about it. It's 20 bucks to paint the whole tailgate. So, but so far 16, 2 cans. It will settle out. You'll see a lot of lines and things like that that are going to disappear as it dries. I should be painting it flat, but it's a little tricky painting this thing flat. If I flip the thing up, I got a mask on both sides of the tailgate. I did get all in there, up in and around that, so that's good. So that'll at least match when you open the hatch. I realized I got to change these things out. These are shot. I never opened the glass part of the hatch. Yeah, you can see already. It's only been a couple minutes already. It's starting to smooth out. So we'll come back in a few minutes. I'm going to try to get that bug off. Maybe I can pull one leg. Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't have steady enough hands. I'm not even going to attempt it. I'll take care of that post. All right, I'll be back. 2 coats settling in. It's pretty good. It's got a bit of the hammered finish on it. Interestingly, it picks up shadows and reflections differently than the regular paint. Unfortunately, I had a really fluky thing happen. This cylinder here blew and poured whatever that fluid is all over it. Paint's too tacky for me to do anything about it. I don't know what that's gonna do. Fortunately, I caught it before it went below the gate, so it'll only affect that, which, as I said, it's forgiving paint. It also caused the lid to drop, and the whole tailgate flipped up, which is why I've got it closed now. I was thinking about doing a 3rd coat just to kind of smooth it out a little bit, but I think it's still settling. I mean, even here you can see it's actually, looking through the camera, it looks like there's a lot of disparity in the finish, but really it's not. Just shadows. It's actually a pretty nice even finish. It just picks up reflections oddly. Once I get it out in the sun, you'll probably be able to see it better, but I gotta let this thing sit for a while. I don't know what to do about the hydraulic fluid leaking out, but it looks like whatever was in there is out. So I gotta touch up here where the gate flew down. I don't think it did anything else. I think overall we're in good shape. I'm gonna clean things up. Almost done. My goal was to be done no later than 1 o'clock today, and I don't believe it's I don't know what time it is really. I think it's like 11. So it's been a good morning. It hasn't gotten to 90 yet. Still in the 80s. So that's it for the day. I'll give you another look once I get all the masking tape off, but I'm gonna wait probably another half an hour for that. Let the paint get a little tighter, because this is gonna be tricky. I need the paint to be not tacky. Oh, actually, it isn't tacky. I thought it was. I guess it's only tacky where that fluid leaked on it. So yeah, I guess I'll remove the masking tape and see how it looks. Okay, headlights polished and going in. There, I got the right side here. Where's that? This side? Oh, that's this side. Wrong side. Look out, Mugs. All right, I'll probably have to take those out again when I paint the fenders, but I think we're ready to take it out and look at it in the light. Right, Notch? Of course, I'll have to wait till Nacho moves. Okay, I've got it back together. I've got the tail lights in. I polished them up a little bit. They came out pretty good. They don't look new, but they're 22 years old. The logos came out nice. The tape around them really worked. There's a kind of an edge you can see where I brushed it. A little less so on this guy. The paint finish, I don't know how well you can tell on camera. It actually came out beautiful. It's really nice. It just, like I said, it looks like an orange peel. Heavy orange peel, like a GM in the mid-80s type of paint job. I'll have to touch up this. I got some overspray on it, but it's black. You know, I'll just brush it on. I'll paint this black. I'll polish that up. Overall, pretty good. I'm happy with it. Tomorrow, maybe I'll do the hood, or I may tackle the rust on the rockers. One or the other. All right, it's about 3 o'clock. I just wanted to do a quick addendum to show you how this paint kind of settles out. So I know it looked, when I first sprayed it, you probably noticed that there was some differences in the finish, some lines that may have looked like they were brush strokes or airbrush strokes across it. But that disappears. This paint, it takes it a while to kind of settle. And actually, it's a pretty finish now. Again, I love the color. But anyway, that's about all. Just wanted to add that in.